Alright you guys, so welcome back to my channel. I do want to go ahead and show you guys how I do get a flawless base every single time when I do go out, because I want to make sure if I'm going out, my foundation and my base is not moving at all. So I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks, and if you are interested, make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, and let's jump right into the video. Alright you guys, so let's get into this phase. I am so excited to film because I've been sick all week, so now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I have so much energy and I kind of need to calm down a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited to film this video for you guys. So first things first, we're gonna start with primer. And when it comes to your base, you wanna make sure that your primer is really good for long lasting foundation. So the one that I always use is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I was about to say in the shade, but it's a primer, like I need to get that out of my head. And I'm sure you guys know when it comes to this primer, it's really good at making sure that your foundation lasts all day because it does have that sticky base. So I'm gonna squirt about 2 drops into my hand and just dot it all over my face. But I love this when I'm going out, you guys, because I know for sure that my makeup is gonna stay on all night. So I'm just gonna let this set for a second, and I'm gonna move on to my second primer. I use a Kane & Austin Prime and Protect Mattifying Primer with SPF 50 because I do have very oily skin, and there's nothing worse than when you go out and then you go into the bathroom to check your face and you realize you're a grease ball, and I just hate that look. So this is really good at controlling my oils, and I'm really gonna just focus this in my T-zone. Alright, so we're finally prepped and good to go. I just feel like it's very important when it comes to your primer because that really is like the, important part. And I know some people don't use primer. Everybody has a preference, but for me, I realize when I use the right primers, my skin is always good. But moving on to color corrector, I have my orange color corrector from, Cover FX. And with this one, I always color correct because sometimes your foundation does come off throughout the day. Especially with me, I do have a bunch of dark marks on my chin, but they're kind of going away because of the serum that I've been using, so I really don't have a lot anymore. But I love having this underneath my foundation because it's like a second base in case, if that makes sense. But basically, if my foundation is coming off, I still have this underneath, that way it doesn't show like my bare skin. But I do hope that makes sense because that's kind of everywhere. I'm gonna take this and just put it in the areas that really need it, which is typically around my mouth and then my chin. And I think that's all that needs it because when it comes to my skin, you guys, I've been using the Hyper Skin Vitamin C Serum, which has really helped my dark marks, so I don't need to color correct as often, but I still do it because it really just makes my foundation look really, really flawless. And to blend it out, I'm using my Morphe M335 brush. So now moving on to the main part, I do have my Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation in the shade 5N. And this foundation, you guys, is my absolute favorite because I can wear it for, 8 hours plus and it still looks flawless on my skin and it never ever separates. So I know I talk about this a lot on my channel, but trust me, you guys, like I am obsessed with this foundation. So let me go ahead and shake it up first because you want to make sure that it's really mixed in there. And also with this foundation, I do want to point out that it's my perfect match because I don't have a warm undertone or a cool undertone. I'm more of like a neutral undertone. So this color fits me to the T. And if you are, my shade as well, I am telling you, pick this foundation up because it's probably like my perfect match. And then I'm just going to take my sponge and blend this into my skin. And this is actually a sponge I'm working on right now. And it's probably my favorite sponge, of course, because it is so soft and bouncy. But I love the fact that it's a little bit bigger than your normal sponges because it covers a wider area and allows for me to blend my foundation really fast. But y'all can see what the foundation looks like. Even though it is not a full coverage foundation, with this one, a little bit goes a long way for my skin, so I really don't need a lot of layers with this. And I swear, you guys, when it comes to my nails, I don't know why I always go with white sometimes because when you do your foundation, it just looks really dirty, all right? So do not judge me My nails aren't dirty. It's my foundation, I swear. All right, so moving on to contour, I do have the Juvia's Place Katsina. It's actually a foundation stick, but I use it as contour just because it's the perfect shade for my skin tone. So let me go ahead and kind of contour slash bronze my skin up all over. And these are super creamy, so a little bit does go a long way. And I'm just blending this in. And also, y'all, let me tell you guys something really funny, okay? So in my house, I still have my Christmas tree up, okay? So it's fall time, so I just decorate for fall. But I was asking everybody on Instagram if I should take down my tree or just get fall decorations or ornaments and put it on the tree. And a lot of people said ornaments. So now I still have my tree up, but it doesn't look as Christmassy, if you know what I mean. And if y'all are judging me, listen, I'm super lazy when it comes to taking stuff down. I just don't feel the need to. And plus, I love my tree being up because when it's up, it kind of gives you that, you know, warm feeling, like mood at night that I really like as well while I'm watching TV. So yeah, that's the reason why. And I do understand it's September, but it is what it is. So now moving on to my favorite parts, I do have the McGrath Lab Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer in the shade MD22, which is the best concealer I've ever tried. With this concealer, once I put it on, you guys, I don't have to worry about separation or getting oily throughout the day or anything like that. It just stays put and makes your face literally look flawless. So if you're going out and you need your foundation to not move at all, not your foundation, sorry, your concealer to not move at all, this is the concealer for you. So let me get this out and we're just gonna highlight. And I know with a lot of these products I've been telling you, like, a little bit does go a long way, but with this one, seriously, a little bit does go a long way because it is full coverage. So I just go ahead and put it in the inner corner of the eyes and then also highlight all over. And then taking my sponge again, I'm just gonna press this into the skin. But really quickly, before I do crease, I'm going to use my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Kunafa to bake my face. I know some people out there don't bake, but for me, if I do bake, I know for sure that, you know, my face is locked in. It's not moving at all, so I always have to bake. And again, I'm using it in the shade Kunafa. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the face, I'm going to use my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder in the shade Y505, which is the best full coverage powder out there, you guys. I'm telling you, with this, you can keep, you know, putting it on your face over and over, and it doesn't look cakey at all. So I always go in with this powder, and I basically just focus it, you know, right here where I typically get oily. And you can put it all over if you need to, but for me, I just focus it in the areas that really need it. So now what I'm going to do is move on to bronzer. I have my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer in the shade Tan number 3. And I love this bronzer, y'all. It's it's my favorite bronzer out there. Sorry, I don't know, I found it funny the way it flipped over. But using my e.l.f. complexion brush, I'm just going to take this and apply it on the perimeter of my face. And it may look like there's nothing coming onto my face, but that's the reason why I love this bronzer, because it is very natural. And slowly you will see the color appear on my skin. And I'm sure y'all can see both sides, because this side looks very nice and natural and bronze, and then this side needs a little bit of color. So y'all can see how it looks. It's just so beautiful. Now to set my face, I'm using my BH Cosmetics Paradise Refresh Face Mist over here. And also I bought this fan. It's called a beauty fan, you guys, and it helps to set your whole entire face. So I cannot wait to try this out, because I typically use my, you know, fan, the manual fan, I guess. But with this one, it makes it super easy. So let me spray first and then show you guys how it works. So actually for blush, I'm actually using the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch blush in the shade Love. And I absolutely love this because I got it in the matte version. And when I put it on my cheeks, you guys, it lasted all day and it still looked as bright and colorful as it did when I first applied this. So I think with this, you know, blush is best for, you know, when you're going out and about and whatnot, because it is not moving at all. So what I do is I go ahead and apply it onto the back of my hand first, just because I have foundation on, so I don't want it to take off my foundation. And then what I do after is I take my sponge and just dab it into the blush and just apply it this way. And this way you're not applying too much blush onto the cheeks and it still looks very natural. So this is what it looks like. Super, super pretty. So for highlighter, I'm using my Artist Couture Conceited Loose Highlighter all over. And y'all already know my whole new thing with highlighter, but I just apply a little bit. I swear back in the day, I used to go crazy for highlighter, but now I love the very natural, just glowy look. Alrighty, so to finish up my look, I'm going to use the Morphe lip pencil in the shade Trendsetter, and then also the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in the shade Bear With Me. So actually I do want to point out that I did want my lips to be a little bit more pink, so I used the BH Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the shade Serena instead, and that's how I got this lip. But last but not least, to set everything to make sure that it's really locked in, I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, the Party All Night Setting Spray, just to make sure that nothing is moving on my face. Alright you guys, so this is a completed look. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do try out my tips and tricks, let me know down below. But with that being said, I love you guys so much. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one.